Boom. Facebook first, YouTube next. Oh, it's going to be awesome. Turn my volume down. So I don't hear echoes when I talk because that just drives me crazy. Put up the Facebook one. Boom. Ready to go. Love it. Everybody, it's Lewis Porter Jr. It is the 12th of December. Good Lord. And I haven't bought a present, done anything. Maybe I should do something. No, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do something. Whatever. So first and foremost, thank you for coming by the show. I'm going to talk about some quick stuff because I know you saw this title, so this title we're going to get into real quick. But of course, before we get started, I got to push our personal own agenda, of course, for all of my tabletop terrorists. We are having a membership drive on our Patreon. The link will actually be, well, let me put the link actually in here. I'm talking about it. So if you are a fan of Pathfinder and you're looking for a cool adventure, a very, very cool dungeon, we have been working very hard on our Halls of the Eternal Moment. It's going great. This is our Infinite Dungeon Patreon. If you want to learn more, just check out the link. Boom. So now let's get to the good stuff. Because I know you're like, ooh, Porter, with a title like that, it must be something interesting. So yeah, so I got a text. Well, I guess I call it text. I got an email text sent to me this weekend about something I did not know was going on. Because I always like when something new comes on. And I'm always interested. Like, oh, what's that? So someone just told me Shelf, aka RPG Now, Drive-Thru RPG, had changed their algorithm for calculating their top seller list. Now, everything I'm telling you, I can't say is 100% true. I don't know if it's actually 100% right, but this is a rumor. You can take it as a rumor. It might be more than a rumor, but like for right now, I'm assuming it's semi-true. Whatever that really means, but I'm going to assume it's semi-true, and that means you can somewhat trust what's coming out of my mouth, at least from the facts that I received from this person, who I don't want to, of course, name names because that's not fair, but it is kind of important for us to talk about that. So yeah, they changed the calculation, and it will no longer be by copies sold divided by on sale. Instead, it will be dollar amount sales divided by the days on sale. So based on what I've been told, that tells me that the more money your product makes, the higher it's going to go up in listing. So, for example, if you have a book that sells, I guess you have $100, and you have another person's book that sells maybe 10 copies at $10 each, and you've got one guy selling 100 copies of the book, they should all be equal, because they've all generated the same amount of money. Me, fundamentally, I think that's very different. I think those are very different and distinct differences. I mean, okay, the first one did sell $100, but he sold to one person. The second one sold to 10, and the last one sold to 100. What's more important, the dollar sales or the amount of people who are being sold to? And this is going to be one of those kind of interesting things. And I think that was interesting. I mean, I'm just like, ooh, that's a kind of interesting spin. And like I said, I'm not sure if this is 100% true. So we're going to take it with a grain of salt, but we are going to talk about this like it is 100% true. So with that, I'm kind of, if they change that, it kind of puts the people who do small products kind of at a disadvantage. Because, if you sell a $5 product, I sell a $2 product, I sell two of those. Wouldn't that be two more than one? But no, it's for the money. So the $5 would be my $4. And that means it's a bestseller. Okay, I get it. Fundamentally, I get it. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It seems a little kind of like you're the bestseller because you make the most money. Is that really what bestseller means? Or is it just, bestseller? Hold on, I got to flip the screen. This is crazy. I put another one. Yeah, for future sales, this is from Lucas, not my son Lucas. So, yeah, Lucas put down here. He said, for future sales, those of 100 sets of eyes are more important than one set with X bit of cash. Yeah, which I believe that also. Dale also says, it doesn't sound right to me. It doesn't sound right to me, but this is something that could be happening. Like I said, we still have to find out if this is actually really true. This might still just be, conjecture or someone else's rumor, and I'm not 100% on it. But that being said, I want to find out if it's true because I think it's important. Put these pages down. This is what happens. You got a lot of million things going on in your thing. So it's important to know, but I don't know if it's actually true. but I'm going to assume it's true. I'm going to assume it's pretty true. It sounds true. The person who said it is a truthful person. I expect, nothing less from that person. So maybe it's true. But this really puts a disadvantage, a massive disadvantage of the people who are small companies. And I don't mean just a generic small company when I say like, oh, small company. I mean like, people who are just tiny. Look, if you're a tiny company, and you've only done this for a little bit, it isn't fair. It really doesn't sound fair. It doesn't sound right. It's not something that I would think would be appropriate, but this could be being done. So I'm going to say this, and this is going to be one of those moments that, this won't get me fired, but I'm sure it's going to have some controversial statements. Look, I think this is fundamentally wrong, and it only basically helps if you're a big company. If you're a small company, it's going to be difficult for you to be in the top 10. That being said, I've never been in the top. I don't think I've been in the top 10 like ever. Well, I mean, whatever. But I have so many products. I mean, we have well over 600 products to sell. This is a non-issue for me because I moved so many products because I had so many products. It's not very difficult for me to generate income doing this by gaining fans and doing the show and going to cons when I can and that kind of stuff. So there's other ways that I know to maximize who I am to make myself financially well from this. That being said, I don't think that's a good idea, having it based on money. I've always been the one who believes in units. Because really, if I sell 100 copies at $1 a piece to 100 people, if I lose 10 customers, I'm still okay. You sell one copy at $100, you lose that one customer. Well, you're done. You're done. That's just done. There's nothing else to break that down. And I've always put it from that perspective, but not everybody agrees with that. Not everybody likes that perspective. Nobody believes that perspective. Nobody wants that perspective. So here we are in this situation like that. I think this is going to be one of those things that we talked about for a while. I'm not sure if this is, 100% true, but I think this is a possibility. This also goes back to something I've noticed, even with the sales online at One Bookshelf. And since I'm talking about One Bookshelf, let me just ask this question to everybody. Everybody who's basically a fan of One Bookshelf, who's been out there, who's seen it, can someone please tell me why is it so necessary that we have RPG Now and Drive-Thru as separate companies? They joined together years ago and they're still having them separate. I mean, I call it RPG Now because I started in RPG Now and Drive-Thru is where the majority of sales come from. So my feeling is that some people buy Drive-Thru, some people buy RPG Now, but it doesn't really matter because they're basically the same place. It's the same place with different headers. So why don't we just unify everything, keep it moving, and keep making those sales? That doesn't happen. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me, but hey, Jason, I'm just reporting the information. I'm not saying it's 100% true, but I'm just reporting the information. And if it is true, it's kind of terrifying that they would do something like this. I think, that's kind of a bad idea on the long term. I just said that, Jason. I said they should be merged. But, I just, once again, I don't know what we're going to say about that. But, for other people who are thinking about, your business long term, you got to think about everywhere you sell. And places that you probably don't sell, you should be selling there. Places that you sell it where you are, you got to need to change it up. I think that you have to approach this like a business and really approach it like a business and focus it from a business perspective. Like I said, I just think it's crazy that this is going on like this. And don't get me wrong. Look, the 800-pound gorilla is RPG Now and Drive-Thru. They are the largest seller of PDFs in the market. And they have been the largest because they were one of the first ones on the scene. And they dominated that scene. And then they got WotC behind them. And now they're good. And there's other guys that popped up. But I don't think anyone's ever popped up to really change the whole dynamic of PDFs. And I thought that someone would by now. I thought someone would have been evolving to that point to be a true competitor to it. But they haven't. So I'm like, and like I said, I love RPG Now because they have a lot of good statistical information that's useful to me. I find that part very, very interesting as a business person and just someone who likes numbers. So I think that's kind of interesting. But that being said, I don't like this part. And I'm kind of in a very different spot than I think majority of people in RPG Now. Look, I know I'm in the top 5% of sellers there. I know that's not a question. me at this level, I can do things. I can take bigger hits because I prepared for. I've got enough product where it's not a big issue. If my sales drop 50%, yeah, that'd be traumatic, but that wouldn't put me out of business. They'd be like, oh, geez, that was painful. Oh, and I could skirt along for a while. Hey, Miss Johnson, how are you doing? So I mean, that's the one thing. That's the thing on that. That's where that kind of thing goes. So I'm okay. At least if I had to bounce along like that for a little bit. But that being said, we really should, we really got to think about, this is the best thing. But, like I said, I've been in 10 minutes, a little over 10 minutes, almost 11 minutes. We've talked about this. I'm not going to beat up anybody about this. It's just out there. People should go check out this information, see if they heard. If anybody hears anything, let me know. I'll talk about it on the show tomorrow. Like I said, even the guys at RPG Now, I haven't confirmed this. I'd like to know. And if they'd like to come on the show, I'd be more than willing to talk about it. So let's find out, because, this could affect a lot of people on a way they never thought possible. And this might change, how people price their product. These are all important things. I mean, these are all important things, and they're all important for us to pay attention to. That's why I do this. So there you go. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting week. See, it's Monday, and we've already started up with this, so it's going to be crazy. Can't wait. So there you go. So as always, if you remember, I think I'm pointing. I can't see my YouTube screen today. So if you're a member of YouTube, make sure you subscribe here. Also, don't forget to check out our Patreon page. It is going very well. We just want to make it bigger. So holy cow. Steve Miller just said that his sales are non-existent this month. I'm actually doing pretty good this month. It's actually doing pretty well. Guys, I wish the show was longer. If the show was longer, we could talk more about this, but we're trying to make it a short show. So maybe we'll talk about this tomorrow on the business side, because we don't know we'll talk on the business. Maybe we'll talk about it. How, that's a good question. How have your sales been this month? If you're interested, send me a post to my Facebook page or my YouTube or my email. 10 million ways to get in touch with me. So do that, and we'll see what we can talk about. All right, everybody, I'm out of here, and I will talk to you all later.